Hey guys, this is Dan Seifert from MobileBurn.com, and what I'm taking a look at here is the new Samsung Focus Flash for AT&T. The Focus Flash is one of the two new Windows Phone 7.5 smartphones that Samsung is releasing for AT&T, and it's the smaller of the two. The other Focus S is the other model, and that's slightly larger and it's got a little bit higher end specs for certain things. But the Focus Flash is a pretty impressive phone on its own. So we've got our standard lock screen here. Now, of course, first thing that you'll notice is the 3.7-inch display. It's a standard WVGA resolution that all Windows Phone models are, or Windows Phone devices are, so you got 480 by 800 pixels of resolution. This is a Super AMOLED unit. It's not a Super AMOLED Plus, but in all honesty, it really looks great on here. Colors are very punchy, and Windows Phone really lends itself quite well to the AMOLED displays, as it always looks good on any AMOLED display for the most part. Down below the display, we've got some buttons here. We've got the three standard Windows Phone keys. So you've got a capacitive back key, a physical hard button for the Windows logo, or your your home start key there, and then another capacitive button for the search key. Up top, you've got your earpiece, and then we've got a front-facing camera, which is a VGA resolution camera on this particular one. So that's kind of new for newer Windows Phone devices, as that is now supported in the Windows Phone 7.5 or Mango edition of the OS. Looking at the side of the phone, we've got a volume rocker on this side, and it's about 10.9 millimeters thick or so. So it's not the thinnest phone on the market, but it's not terribly thick, and it's got this nice kind of rounded edge, so it sits nicely in your hands. On the bottom, we've got a standard micro USB charging port. And then on the other side, we've got the requisite dual-stage camera key for Windows Phone. So every Windows Phone device is required to have one, so the Focus Flash has one right there and allows you to autofocus and click the shutter there. And then you've got the power sleep unlock key, which Samsung has a tendency to put on the side of its phones, so there it is on the side for this one as well. Taking a look at the top of the Focus Flash, we've got a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Not too much else going on there. Now in your hands, the Focus Flash is very light. It's only about 116 grams, so it's much lighter than other phones that are about the same size. For instance, the iPhone 4S is about the same size physically, but that weighs about 140 grams. So it's considerably heavier in your hand than the Focus Flash, which isn't really out of the ordinary for Samsung devices. If we take a look at the back of the phone, we've got a metal plate here, and we'll take a look at that more in a second. But up top, we've got a 5 megapixel autofocus camera with a flash, and that records 720p video as well. And then we've got an external loudspeaker and a silkscreen Windows Phone logo. So not much else going on there. Now you'd assume that this plate here would remove and you'd access the battery that way, but in reality, the whole back of the phone comes off, plate included. Let's see if I can get this off. Here we go. So you've got the metal plate, which is actually surrounded by plastic up here. So it's pretty much just a cosmetic thing going on there. But it does have a nice touch to it. Can show a bit of fingerprints if you're not careful, though. Underneath the battery cover there, we've got a 1500 milliamp hour battery unit that Samsung says gets about 6.5 hours of talk time or about 250 hours of standby. Standard SIM card slot and not much else. There's no SD card slot, as this is a Windows Phone device, so it doesn't really support external SD cards all that well. Speaking of internal memory, though, this does have 8 gigabytes of internal storage, which is a little bit less than some of the other Windows Phone models on the market. Now, if we look at the software on the Samsung Focus Flash, Samsung and AT&T really haven't done too much to customize Windows Phone 7.5, as there really isn't too much to do. There's a few built-in AT&T apps that are preloaded on the phone for various functions, and Samsung's included its Samsung's Daily Briefing program or app that gives you a live widget or live tile on the home screen that gives you weather information, and then you've got news information, and you can have stocks information, and a couple other different things that you can configure there. But other than that, you've got a pretty stock Windows Phone 7.5 experience, which certainly is nothing to complain about. Windows Phone 7.5 generally has a pretty pleasant experience. It offers a new multitasking function that it was not available on earlier versions of Windows Phone, so we're very happy to see that. We've got a combined threaded inbox here, so we've got more than one email account in this threaded inbox, and you can blend them together and access them all at once, which is pretty cool. The email account is, or the email client, I should say, is very good. It supports formatted text, as you can see. You got double tap to zoom, pinch to zoom works as well. You can manage multiple messages at once. So you can see we can check off things. We can either delete or move all those at once, which is pretty neat. All in all, just a very nice email experience on Windows Phone. The People Hub is probably one of the more interesting things of Windows Phone, and it's one of the certainly highlight features. Here you can integrate social services such as Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. You can see your friends' updates and such there. If you had were friends with this particular contact on Facebook or Twitter, you'd see their latest update here in the profile screen, and then you can see the history of messages, emails, calls, and text messages with you and that particular contact, which is pretty cool. And the on-screen keyboard is your standard Windows Phone 7 on-screen keyboard. So depending on the layout of the display, it will be either light or dark, or gray or white. It's pretty responsive and good. We usually like this particular keyboard. Easy to type on and fast and responsive. Now if we take a look at the browser on the Focus Flash, the browser is the Internet Explorer 9 for mobile that comes with Windows Phone 7.5. Let's just load up Mobile Burn here. There you can see it loaded up our mobile site very quickly and easily, and we're connected to a Wi-Fi network here that's pretty fast. The Focus Flash does support AT&T's 4G network, so it's but it's the HSPA Plus network. It is not an LTE phone. So there you can see it loaded our full web page quite quickly. You got double tap to zoom, pinch to zoom there as well. Works in landscape in addition to portrait. But since Windows Phone does not support Flash, we don't have any embedded videos or Flash ads here. Now if we wanted to open a new web page, we could go to Tabs, hit the plus button, and we can open up another web page here. And then we can browse between the two. Now, as you can see here, the Focus Flash is very fast at switching things around and activating functions within the operating system. It's powered by a 1.4 gigahertz single-core processor made by Qualcomm. So it's a very fast processor. You can see here we multitask between various things here. We can switch between our two web pages through the multitasking menu as well. And it's got about 512 megabytes of RAM, which is standard for all Windows Phone 7.5 devices. Now if we take a look at the calendar application here, we've got an agenda calendar view, which shows us our upcoming appointments in a nice list view. Scrolling over, we got a to-do list manager right there within the calendar app. Unfortunately, this doesn't sync with anything else, so you are kind of just managing them on the phone. Then you can view your day-to-day agenda, or go back to your full agenda. This button down here switches you over to a month view, so you can get a look ahead. And here you can add a new calendar event. Now if we take a look at the SMS messaging client here, so here we've got threaded messaging, and it integrates Facebook chat within the standard SMS client here, which is pretty neat. It's as well as integrating Windows Live Messenger. But you've got a threaded messenger here, so you can see your different text messages, and this particular conversation is in SMS, so you can see it's notified there by the little text message icon. And of course you can attach pictures and such from either your Facebook picture accounts or your on-phone picture accounts. And then it supports dictation as well.
Say your message.
Hello. And there you go, it dictated what I said there and put it in the text box. Now if we take a look at the camera on the Samsung Focus Flash, we can launch it from the camera shortcut key. So hold that for a second, and it launches open the camera, which is pretty fast there. You can see it's ready to go. This has got the 5 megapixel autofocus camera with a flash. You've got your standard Windows Phone controls here, so you got zoom, so you can zoom in on your image. You can switch over to video, and this will record 720p video. You can switch over to the front-facing camera, which is right there. And if you hit this little cogwheel down at the bottom, you got a couple different settings for autofocus mode, white balance, etc. ISO, photo quality, metering, and you got your flash controls here. So we use our little lens as a test subject here. You can tap the screen, will autofocus, and then it will proceed to take the picture. Alternatively, you can use the camera shutter key up here. Pressing halfway down will autofocus the lens. Pressing all the way down will snap the shot. Fairly responsive and fast there. If we swipe over to the left, we can take a look at our pictures here. And we can pinch to zoom to get a closer look. Or we can go out to a film strip type of mode. If we hit this dots here, we can share it various ways. You can share it through a message or an email, upload it directly to Facebook, or if you have a Twitter account synced with the phone, you can upload it directly to Twitter. Use it as a wallpaper, delete it, and then there's Microsoft's Auto Fix here, which you can see kind of adjusted the white balance and made it a bit more natural. So I'm going to save that because that looks better. So here we have our live camera again. You can switch over to the video mode. We've got, once again, 720p video. Let's see if we can record a little clip here. Press the shutter button to start. Record away. Let's see if it'll refocus on my hand here. Doesn't seem to want to refocus all that well while it's recording. And then you can do the same thing. You just swipe over to review your video. Refocus on my hand here. Doesn't seem to want to refocus all that well while it's recording. Refocus on. Then you can hit the dotted button and you can upload this to Facebook or share it in other means. So there you have it. That's a real quick look at the Samsung Focus Flash for AT&T. Focus Flash is a Windows Phone 7.5 smartphone. And just as a quick recap over the features, the main features, we've got a 3.7-inch WVGA Super AMOLED display. It's about 10.9 millimeters thick. Features a 5 megapixel camera on the back with autofocus into flash. VGA front-facing camera. It's powered by a 1.4 gigahertz single-core Qualcomm processor. Comes with 512 megabytes of RAM and has 8 gigabytes of storage built in. You can pick this up from AT&T on November 6th and selling for about $49.99 on contract, which probably isn't really too bad of a deal with the performance that you get with Windows Phone and the high-speed processor that this has. So there you go. It's a Samsung Focus Flash for AT&T. This is Dan Seifert from MobileBurner.com. Thanks, guys.